We have our next guest in station. We have Mr. Wes Seegmiller. Did I say that right?
You said that right.
From Seegmiller Injury Attorneys. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Great. So tell us, I mean, it's pretty self-evident in the name, but tell us a little bit about what you do.
We're injury attorneys. We represent anybody who has been injured in any sort of a way. Motor vehicle accidents is a big way, and lots of other ways people can get injured. And if there's any way to help them with their medical treatment, we are very familiar with types of procedures that are out there. We can advise them on that and point them in the right direction, and then we can also get them compensation for it if it's not their fault. Sometimes it is their fault.
So it's not just the compensation part. You help the people out. That's what I think I find a little uncommon. You know, most injury attorneys will jump in and you know, work on the numbers first, and everything else comes second. But it sounds like you're helping people with guidance on different types of things in the process.
Well, in many auto cases, for example, you injure the back, and there are a lot of ways to get the back pain controlled other than having a surgery. There's cutting-edge ways now. There's laser treatments. There's different ways to arthroscopically go in and remove things that outpatient that you can get up off the table and walk out of, whereas before you had a 2 or 3 week in-bed convalescence. There's just so much happening and progressing in the field that it really isn't something you have to do anymore to go in and have a real invasive surgery. You can get something that's less invasive and have it really be successful.
Interesting. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD. Email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com, or find our page on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andrea Kay, and Urban Miaris, and our guest is Wes Seegmiller from Seegmiller Injury Attorneys.
So why is it important to know what all the different medical treatments and technologies are out there? Why is it important for you to know that for your clients?
Well, clients come in and they've been injured, for example, and they've been to their primary care physician, and he wants to go in and do a fusion because their spine is in need of a fusion. They may not know that there's a new procedure out that is short of a fusion, is a very successful procedure that doesn't require the necessity of a fusion and is really, really successful. They may not know that because many times healthcare is insurance driven. So insurance companies don't like new things. They're expensive.
Especially in this market.
They will deny coverage for them. They will say that's experimental. We hear that all the time. Oh, that's an experimental. Well, it's been around. I remember when the MRI was experimental.
Right.
I remember when we couldn't get coverage for an MRI scan. If it wasn't a CT scan or an X-ray, we couldn't get an insurance company to pay for it because it was experimental. For years, they wouldn't pay for it. Well, now we use MRI. It's a very, very good and very complete diagnostic tool. So an MRI is something that is commonplace now, but it took time for the insurance industry to accept that. Same with these new procedures. Same thing.
So you're like the Rainmaker, in a sense. Did you see that movie, the Grisham? Yeah. Woody.
That was a great movie.
Wasn't it a great movie?
It was great. Dustin Hoffman did a great job in that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, to be a specialist in your legal profession, I mean, you really have to be an emergency room look-on physician, shall I say, a pharmacist, a psychiatrist. You really have to cover the whole gamut.
We have to know the options. You know, we go in and we say, well, here are the options, and here's what your doctor can tell you, and here are the procedures that you can get done to fix your low back that's having pain shoot down your leg into your left foot, and you have to limp around, and he wants to do a surgery. But here's some of the things that you might want to ask him about. So we're not doctors, and we don't treat them, but we do keep abreast of all the new cutting-edge, innovative procedures so that we can tell them about them.
And so that your client can get good treatment, for having been injured,
right? Which
is just so contrary to the impression that we have with personal injury attorneys, right, Barry?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So,
as a matter of fact, after the show, I'm going to talk about a second opinion on my medical condition.
Yeah.
And try to get some feedback.
Yeah. Well, before the show, we talked about a few different client studies or case studies that you have that you wanted to share with us. Any really good
well, we have some really interesting cases.
I can imagine you have.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was a law clerk working in a firm, we had in fact I was working in a defense firm as a law clerk, and I had a small case came over my desk, and the injured person had a perfectly round circle burn on his rear end.
Oh.
And he had a bump on his forehead.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Now, that's a riddle.
Now, remember, this is a rated G show here, Wes.
We should probably just go to commercial. That's a riddle.
Yeah.
So then you can figure that out. So what caused those injuries? This is really interesting. He went into a gas station to fill up, and while he was pumping, he went back into the bathroom to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
He was smoking.
Okay.
He sat down on the toilet.
Okay.
He put his cigarette out in the toilet, and the toilet was full of sewer gas. It had leaked. So he was blown off of the toilet.
Oh, this is not out of the Reader's Digest, is it?
And his head impacted into the door. So he had this circle burn on his rear end, and he had a bump impact on his forehead.
This sounds like something that should be on True TV or something. I don't know.
We had that case. We settled that case for a good amount of money.
Wow. Well, this is the first time. You've done something that I haven't been able to do in the last 2 years here. I can't get Andrea to stop laughing at that one. So that's great. Okay.
I just visualized you.
Oh, God. Okay, so anyway, well, why don't we move on? Got any other stories?
Oh, I got a lot of stories.
No
Okay.
more, Wes.
No.
I can't take any more stories.
We have lots more. Just keep asking.
Oh, you should put that right on your home page of your website, Wes.
Andrew's been spending a little bit of time in Louisiana lately. Yeah. So, God.
Anyway, okay.
So
how did you get it? How did you become a personal injury attorney?
Well, it was interesting. I started out as I worked in a real estate attorney's office, and then my brother had an accident, and he came in and I helped him with it, and was able to get him a decent settlement. And I thought, well, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. And when we hire new attorneys, I ask them this one question: if you, after work, had a choice of going out to dinner with your banker or going to a bar with your next door neighbor, where would you feel most comfortable? And if they say, well, the dinner with my banker, I say, well, you're not set out for our firm, because we represent everyday people. Now we represent bankers too.
Right.
But we represent a slice of humanity and everybody. You have to feel comfortable with everybody. That really is where our business lies.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Even someone who blown out
himself off.
This is too much. I'll tell you what. This is the first story that has exceeded our Market Street vet story from the time before.
All right.
So.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
So. I'm sorry. I can't even recover from that story,
yes,
Wes.
That's true.
So is personal injury the only type of law you practice?
That's it. That's what we do. Personal injury.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing this in San Diego?
I lost count at 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So more than that.
Yeah.
You must have been a child prodigy. You look like you're about 40.
Yeah.
So, no.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
So.
Well, there's so many people that we had Thomas Jefferson School on earlier, and we were talking about the legal field before we started the show here. So many people have come out of law school with a dream that they were going to have a successful practice. They can't get it going either keep a job at a big firm or hang a shingle themselves. How have you been able to stay in San Diego? The ups and downs of the economy. Other people with personal injury firms have gone by the wayside. How have you been able to keep the firm going and stay so successful? Because you won an award in 2014, the 2014 Litigators Award.
Yes, we did win that award, but we have just never assumed that we know everything. One of the things we do in our offices is we have a courtroom in our office, an actual reproduction of a courtroom, small courtroom, in which we have focus groups. And so we focus group everything. We focus group our attorneys to see how a jury would respond to them. We focus group our experts that we bring into trial to see what they need to do to be better experts. We focus group cases, of course, clients, issues. We focus group our website. We focus group our advertisements. We just don't feel that we know everything, and we then bring in focus groups to help us learn what the public really wants. So that's helped us grow. That's helped us be current.
An attorney who doesn't think he knows everything.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Okay.
Absolutely shocking. Where did you go to school?
I went to University of Pacific Law School. I went to University of California undergrad. Mm-hmm. And I went to Harvard University for a certificate. And I'm now going to Pepperdine University for an advanced law degree. I'm kind of a degree addict.
Yeah, you're a degree junkie.
Well, you've done well, and I like the fact that you reinvest in the practice. The focus groups, that is a heavy cost that most law firms wouldn't do. So.
Well, we used to pay a lot more than we pay now. We have a very streamlined way of doing a focus group that will allow us to do a focus group. We do a 3-hour stretch, not a whole day. We have some principals. We pay them cash. We get them we try to replicate the demographic of the area that we're in the focus group, and we get them in and out. So we're very willing to come. Within just a few hours of our putting out a lead ad for a focus group, we'll have 40 or 50 applicants for it.
Wow.
We only need 10 or 12.
That's awesome.
Well, hit me up. I'm willing to come out and be part of your focus group. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
especially if you're doing cases like that.
Stop laughing. So anyway, well, listen, we're running short on time. Tell our listeners how they can find out more about Seegmiller Injury Attorneys.
Just get online, Seegmiller Law Firm, SEEG, SeegmillerLawFirm.com.
Great. Well, thanks for being with us, and I look forward to doing some follow-up with you, and I think we're going to have to get you back on air again in the future to tell more stories.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what they are beforehand. So.
No.
That's true. You're good at that. You're good at that.
Thanks.
So.
Thanks for having me.
Andrea will still laugh.
Yeah. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD or just find us on Facebook. And you can always email me at Barry@CloseUpSanDiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.